There is a question almost nobody asks about retirement, and yet the answer to that question may determine whether your future feels fulfilled or filled with regret. The question is not, how much money do I need to retire? The question is, who will I become by the time I get there? Because millions of people are following a financial plan that sounds intelligent on paper. Work hard, save aggressively, delay enjoyment, sacrifice today, live later. And for decades, that advice has been repeated so often that it feels unquestionable. But what if the greatest retirement risk isn't running out of money? What if the greatest retirement risk is spending your healthiest years preparing for a future version of yourself that may never be able to enjoy what you spent a lifetime building? Because retirement is not only a money problem, it is a time problem, a health problem, an energy problem. And for many people, it becomes a regret problem. If you want more deep finance education that helps you build wealth, avoid costly mistakes, and think differently about money, subscribe to this channel right now. Every week, we break down the psychology of money, wealth building, financial freedom, and the decisions that shape your future. Now let's talk about the retirement lie nobody talks about. The lie is not that saving money is bad. The lie is not that investing is unnecessary. The lie is not that retirement planning doesn't matter. The lie is much more subtle. It is the belief that life can always be postponed. And that belief quietly shapes the decisions of millions of people every day. Think about how most people are taught to approach life. Study hard, work hard, save money, wait, keep waiting. Then one day, when retirement finally arrives, enjoy everything you postponed. At first glance, this sounds perfectly reasonable. In fact, it sounds responsible. But hidden inside that advice is an assumption almost nobody examines. The assumption that your future self will have the same opportunities, health, energy, and desires that you have today. And that assumption is often wrong. Imagine a man named Michael. Michael starts working in his early 20s. He dreams of traveling the world. He wants to hike mountains, visit different countries, learn new languages, create unforgettable memories. But every time an opportunity appears, he tells himself the same thing. I'll do it later. I'll enjoy life after I retire. Right now, I need to focus on work. Years become decades, his career grows, his investments grow, his savings grow, and eventually retirement arrives. But something else arrives too: lower energy, joint pain, reduced mobility, health limitations, responsibilities he never expected. And suddenly Michael realizes something. The money is finally there. But the version of himself who dreamed those dreams no longer exists. This is the retirement lie. The belief that time is waiting. The belief that opportunities remain unchanged. The belief that experiences can always be delayed. But life doesn't work that way. Because every human being lives through what we can call a health curve. When you are young, your wealth is usually low. But your energy is high. Your flexibility is high. Your physical ability is high. As time passes, wealth often increases, but energy begins to decline. Physical capacity begins to decline. Recovery becomes slower. And eventually those curves cross. Your bank account may be growing while your ability to fully enjoy certain experiences is shrinking. And most people spend their entire lives optimizing only one of those curves, the wealth curve. They monitor investment returns. They monitor savings rates. They monitor retirement accounts. But they rarely monitor the opportunity curve, the experiences available today that may not be available tomorrow. This creates a hidden cost. A cost that never appears on financial statements. A cost that cannot be measured with spreadsheets. A cost known as deferred living. Deferred living happens when someone repeatedly postpones meaningful experiences because they believe a better time will arrive later. The problem is that later is not guaranteed. And even when later arrives, it may not look the way you imagined. Think about parents. A father tells himself he'll spend more time with his children when work becomes less demanding. A mother promises herself she'll create more memories once life slows down. But childhood has a deadline. Children grow, they leave, they become adults. And once that season ends, it never returns. No amount of money can buy it back. The same principle applies to many parts of life. There are experiences that belong to specific seasons. There are opportunities that have expiration dates. There are moments whose value depends entirely on timing. And this is where many traditional retirement conversations become incomplete. They focus almost entirely on accumulating resources. But resources are only useful when they are converted into meaningful experiences. Money itself is not the goal. Money is a tool, and a tool has value only when it is used. Imagine spending your entire life collecting fuel, more fuel, more fuel, more fuel, but never taking the journey. Eventually, you realize you mastered accumulation, but never experienced the destination. This brings us to one of the most powerful concepts in personal finance: memory dividends. A financial investment can generate future returns, but so can experiences. Think about a trip you genuinely enjoyed. You paid for it once, but how many times have you remembered it? How many stories came from it? How many conversations included it? How many smiles did it create years later? The experience ended, but the value continued. The memory kept paying dividends over and over again. And some of the most meaningful experiences in life continue generating emotional returns for decades. This does not mean spending irresponsibly. It does not mean ignoring retirement. It does not mean emptying your investment account. That would simply create a different problem. The goal is balance. Financial wisdom is not choosing between enjoying today and preparing for tomorrow. It is learning how to do both. The people who build the most fulfilling lives understand something important. They save intentionally, and they spend intentionally. They invest for the future, and they invest in meaningful experiences. They understand that money has different purposes at different stages of life. In some seasons, money should be invested. In some seasons, money should be used to create memories. In some seasons, money should buy flexibility. In some seasons, money should buy security. But in every season, money should serve life, not replace it. So what do financially successful people do differently? They stop asking only one question. They stop asking, how much money will I have later? And they begin asking, what opportunities exist now that may not exist later? That question changes everything, because it forces you to recognize that time is an asset, health is an asset, energy is an asset. And unlike money, those assets cannot be replenished indefinitely. You can earn more income, you can build more wealth, but you cannot create more youth. You cannot create more time. You cannot recreate every missed opportunity. And that realization transforms retirement planning. It stops being a math problem and becomes a life design problem. The goal is no longer reaching retirement with the largest possible account balance. The goal is reaching the end of life with financial security and meaningful memories, with wealth and experiences, with preparation and participation, with savings and stories, because the most successful financial plan is not the one that creates the biggest retirement account. It is the one that helps you build a life you don't need to escape from. So remember this: the retirement lie nobody talks about is not that saving is wrong. It is not that investing is unnecessary. It is not that planning for the future is foolish. The lie is believing that life can always wait. Because one day you may discover that your money arrived exactly on schedule, but your opportunity did not. And that is a realization no investment can fix. If this video changed the way you think about retirement, subscribe right now. And tell me in the comments, what is one experience you keep postponing because you believe there will always be more time? Think carefully, because your wealth matters, your health matters, your time matters. And the people who truly win financially learn how to protect all three. Don't just plan for retirement, plan for life. Use it.